Everybody, it's Michael DeSilvis. I just wanted to give you a public record of what's going on. Uh, the Shields kids will not be coming over my house for right now or for the time being because of their behavior last time they were over here. I'm tired of Jeremy telling me what's inappropriate and what's not inappropriate. Some people say that's his personality, but I say that's just a behavioral issue, and he needs to be talked to and needs to be chastened. So he'll stop doing that, going over to people's houses and telling them what to do. And, when the adult, which in this case, I'm the adult, or, if they're over anywhere else, then they need to, Jeremy don't need to be talking back and being authoritative and, saying things like, what's appropriate movies to watch and what aren't. And, that's what he would do when he came over here. And I said, I'm not going to let you watch something that's inappropriate, so you don't need to be like that. But he still did it anyway. And then when I would say something to him, they would just roll their eyes at me or not pay me any mind. So, if other people have these problems with them, and especially what they were fine until when church started, when they were at church, it's like they were told to tune me out by their mom or dad or both. Because they don't like, they don't like some of the things I talk because my doctrine's a little different or my beliefs are a little different than theirs is. And so they have a little problem with that because my beliefs are different, and they come back and they're all asking questions and maybe confused because, which really is good for them because they're asking questions because they want to know about the Bible, because what I say does make more sense sometimes than what their father teaches them. Because when I'm there, I get confused by it, and I'm a growing person, because it's not really presented very well, and it's said in language that is not, for a child it wouldn't be easy to understand. I understand it because I'm a Bible person, but people, children, like 10 and 14 aren't going to understand it very well. But you can't talk just in adult terms and expect for them to grasp it. But the thing is, they're more attentive over there. They're all in it. They're laughing and all that stuff. And they used to be like that over here, and they were really well behaved until like the last couple times they were here. So it's like someone told them not to do anything, and then when they were here, they wouldn't drink anything or eat anything when I offered to them, and usually they would the other times. So, I thought that was really strange. So it's like like their mom told them not to eat anything if I offer them anything, because none of them would drink the water, which is nothing wrong with the water. But apparently she must have thought I was maybe poisoning them or something. I don't know. That's the way they were acting, and I would never do something like that, which really upset me. And, because they would never acted that way. When I offered Steven a piece of meat, to eat, to try he would just eat it. And they were saying, oh, well, they're getting finicky and all. I said, yeah, well, whatever. I don't believe that. And then this last Tuesday, a bombshell came. She just said, by the way, the kids aren't coming over anymore. They're not going to spend the night or come over your house at all. And I said, well, why don't you tell me why? She said, well, you need to talk to Charlie about that. I said, well, you're the one that brought it up. Why can't you tell me? I'm talking to you. I'm not talking with Charlie. I said, you should be able to tell me yourself that you're the one that brought it up. We never really discussed anything that I was doing that offended you or was questionable that you didn't like, when you should have discussed that with me instead of just saying, oh, out of the blue, I'm not going to have your kids come over. My kids aren't coming over your house anymore. Usually people discuss things, but they never did. We discussed about them staying up later than usual because I let them stay up later. I just told them, because I'm honest. I said, yeah, I let them stay up later because I was being an uncle, just like their grandparents do. They let them stay up later when they sleep over there because that's what grandparents do, and I was doing the same thing just to be like a family member. But, in light of that, I said, well, if they want to go to bed early, they could. But, I just didn't understand it because, I thought we were getting along and everything was good, and then all of a sudden she just threw that on me, and then I was talking to Joy, my friend Joy, and she miscombines things because she's got schizophrenia and she doesn't even get everything half right most of the time. She went and told Charlie and Sean that I was thinking about taking them to social services, which I didn't say that. What I actually said, I said that could be worst case possibility. I said, but what I'm going to do is talk to them first, even though I don't have to, because I got enough data to take them there if I wanted to. But since I was being a friend and I was being a family member, I figured I would talk to them first about these things. Because the way they were acting, when Beth Ann was over here, and Jeremy said he liked the girl from the McKenna movie, and it was not a real girl. Sean said that she was being protective of Jeremy, and Beth Ann was being protective of Jeremy, but that wasn't the case. She just whopped him real hard on the stomach. She says, well, you're not supposed to look at any other girls, Jeremy. And she was real mad, and she was sort of like jealous. And, I thought that was strange. I said, why'd you whop him on the stomach like that? What's wrong with you? And she just sort of rolled her eyes at me, looked the other way. I said, you don't do that to Jeremy. You understand me? What's wrong with you? Because he, grabbed his stomach because it hurt. And then, because she hit him really, really hard, punched him in the stomach. And then, then Jeremy and John fell asleep because they were watching TV, and she's like, wake up, Jeremy and John, wake up on both their stomachs real hard like that. And I'm like, why are you doing that? If they want to sleep, let them sleep. What's wrong with you? I said, why do you do that? If you did that to me, I'd hit you upside the head. If you were my brother, if you were my sister, I would. I'd cock you upside the head. I would. Because, she shouldn't be waking them up. If they want to sleep, they can sleep. I don't know what's wrong with her. So, she was just acting like that. And then when I said something to her, she wasn't even paying me any mind. Not even listening to me. Being disrespectful. And I thought that was strange. So this all happened on on Saturday night when they were here 2 weeks ago. And then flashing forward back to Tuesday, she just says out of the blue, well, they're not coming over your house or spending the night anymore. Didn't explain to me why or say anything. She said I had to go to Charlie to talk to him because she couldn't tell me herself when she's the one that made the decision, because she's always talking to Charlie about things upstairs, saying that I need to be supervised with the kids and that I can't be by myself with them. Because I heard her say that to Charlie a week before last when I was over there. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? It's like every time I come over there, it's not even fun. So it's like I don't want to even go over there on Saturday because it's like I'm being under scrutiny or I'm being scrutinized. Or she's trying to analyze me when she's not even a psychologist. And she doesn't really have experience or education in the area. And she really isn't really, in some areas, not real good with her kids. Leaving them, especially when somebody's on medicine that can give them more hormones, Because over the summer, I said something to them about this last week. That's what I talked to them about. And I was satisfied with what I heard, but I said to them, your son did something to Beth Ann. Jeremy did. I said, you need, and it was not appropriate. I said, you need to address this issue. But they didn't pay me any mind. It's like they're in disbelief because most parents are like that. They're in disbelief. But I said, you really need to talk to your son about this and talk with your Beth Ann about it. And they might need to go to therapy. I said, because something happened to him over the summer. If you don't talk about it, one day she's going to have flashbacks. And she's going to spill it out no matter what. No money or nothing's going to keep it from coming out. And when that does happen, don't say I didn't warn you. You can say I was the friend that warned you. But you didn't take heed to it, now. You didn't do anything about it. So they said Isla. So what happened was that she, I found out when she was talking on the phone that the new babysitter is Kathy because that's her new best friend. But she's going to find out how Sean is, where she always tries to get her to do things for nothing and doesn't want to pay because that's what she did with me. And, eventually that's going to get old after a while because sometimes you need to charge people for things, even if you're friends, because you can't keep doing everything for free. Because there's a lot of things I do for free for them that I have done, but there's some things I need to charge on because I have to make a living. And, with them over here, they behave a lot, but sometimes they're not easily to manage. And I can manage all four of them. It's just that they need, at church is when the problem is. Because the last time they were over here for church, they just kept passing gas and making noises. I mean, they weren't just normally moving around, like this. They were like banging on stuff, and messing with things. Because I could hear it behind me, and I saw it on camera. I was watching them. And they probably didn't like it because I had a camera on them, and they probably didn't like it because I yell at them and get on them when they're doing something wrong. But, that's the things that I see that they didn't like because they don't really say stuff to them really or correct their kids really all that much. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I think they need to be corrected at all times. They don't always have to be spanked, but it needs to be dealt with. Like send them to the room, without, they don't get dessert, things like that. And if a spanking is necessary, then they need to have that done to them, but not all the time. That's only if it's really bad. If it's like something where it's unavoidable. But if they've done something wrong, you just take away their privileges of going outside for 3 days or, a week if it's real bad. Things like that. But see, they don't always do that. And then what I found out is that when Sean says something or if Charlie says something, Sean will tell them it's okay. They can go play. Or Charlie will say it's okay and play. When Sean says something, they need to both stick to what they say And when they're parents, they need to not back down or give in to the whims of their children. Because when one says something, they both need to follow it. And see, that's the problem. And that's why that's why Jeremy's so loud and why he likes to tell people what to do, because he gets away with that. When that's not a personality issue, that's a behavioral issue. Okay? That's a behavioral issue. That's not a personality. That's just not behaving or being defiant because he's trying to be like he's bigger than his britches. And he needs somebody to, get him back in the orbit where he is. He's a kid, and that's where he needs to be, and not trying to take over things and try to tell people what to do. Because when you go over Kathy's house or go anywhere else, nobody's going to put up with that. So if you notice that they're not able to go to some people's houses after a while, that may be the reason why, or maybe he was caught going through some things he shouldn't have been looking at. And that may be the reason why, too. Or they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing over there inappropriately. Because, they have to be trained or taught about proper behavior when they go into people's houses. I mean, when they come through here and they're in here and they're going through everything of mine. A couple nights I woke up when Jeremy was over here and he was in the middle of the night going through my closets. And, in the bedroom. I walked in there and he was in there, walking in there, looking in on Beth Ann and all, and walking around. But Jeremy, you need to go back to sleep, dude. Get back out here. You're not going to the bathroom, get back out here. And, he didn't say anything. And, to me, it's strange, He'd bring a flashlight over my house, and I don't know why he had to bring that over, but he did bring one, and, because I got plenty of flashlights over here. There's no reason to have one. I thought that was kind of strange. But that's the last time, the time before they came over here, and he was up all night, watching me, because he couldn't even keep his eyes open the very next day, and at home, he just fell asleep, and, Charlie didn't say anything about it, and I heard them talking, just the week before they came over here about memory cards, about recording stuff. And I said, well, why do you need to record something? If, and I'm like putting it together. And I said something to Beth Ann. I said, if you're recording me and I'm not, and I'm being recorded on a device and it gets discovered, then I will press charges against you and your family because you recorded me without my permission. And that's against the law to record somebody without their written or known knowledge of it. And that's exactly true. And I said it to Beth Ann. I said, if you're recording me, you need to go in there and turn it off, because that's against the law to record somebody privately without them knowing. And that is the law. And, I'm not doing nothing wrong, but I don't want somebody recording me, unannounced. And I think that's what they were doing, to see what I'm doing, to record the whole time while they were here. And, it's just all this stuff happened, when they were here. And it was just weird behavior, the way she was acting towards Jeremy. And, Charlie said, well, that's the way they always act towards each other. They can't stand each other. And I know brothers and sisters have several rivalry, but they don't actually really hate each other. And he says they really do. They can't stand each other. I said, well, sometimes when they act that way, it's not because they hate each other. It's because they're covering up something that happened to them that was uncomfortable or inappropriate or awkward. And that's what kids will do, because they can't stand to be around each other because of what happened between them. And so they'll say they hate each other to cover it up, when really something did happen to them that was inappropriate. And that's what needs to be dealt with here. And that's what I said to them, just to let people know the truth about what's going on here, in case they come out with some other wild story about me, But these are the reasons why I believe they don't want them to come over here. And then Sean's made some comments that were off the wall and should not have been said, and were just not respectful or appropriate, towards me, and have made references towards me that were inappropriate, or accusations which were unfounded. And, I asked her and confronted her about it on Tuesday, and she said I was being delusional when she actually really made those comments, because I heard her say it. So either she has schizophrenia, or she has multiple personalities, or she just don't remember, but she seems to remember everything else, but she don't remember making comments. But, other people have said these things that she does too, and that's why she loses a lot of friends, because she opens up her mouth and says things and doesn't think about other people's feelings with respect or understanding. She thinks that everybody should always agree with what she says, and if they don't see things the way she does, then she's going to cause problems or rock the boat. And that's what she's done. I mean, she's been asked to leave two churches and one Bible study because it caused a division and strife and disruption there. She also was. She also had a demonic presence in her body. She said that she was demonically controlled, and she had to go to a hospital, a mental hospital, because of that, because of demonic obsession. Back after when she had the kids, because she told me that. And I think sometimes she may be under that control some now. So, because of the way she has these different moods and behavior swings at times that I see her doing from time to time. Not all the time, but it may explain why she acts the way she does. But, anyway, I still love her, but I just can't get over the fact that, she says all these things and she sits there and laughs, I'm crazy when I'm not. Because I'm not. She really made comments like that. And they are crazy to even make. But those are the comments she made that were very inappropriate and disrespectful. I didn't even ask her for no money. I just asked, could you pray that I would get the money through work and all. I never said, could you help me with this? And maybe she thought I was asking her for money. And so, hinting when I wasn't. And I even said I wasn't asking. And then she comes out and says, well, if you think we're going to help pay for your dental bill, which I never even asked, which I wasn't going to do in the first place, she just, said, well, we're not going to pay for it. I said, well, did I ask you? Did I ask you? And she said, no. I said, then why in the world did you have to say that? The next day she said, well, I felt like I was led by my heart to tell you that. And that's something you tell somebody when you're led by your heart. That's just being selfish and being disrespectful. That's nothing that you would tell somebody when you're moved by your heart to tell them. Because I didn't need to be told something like that because I wasn't even asking her for money, and I never do. Sometimes they offer to help me out, which is nice because I do a lot for them. And they do a lot for me, and I help them out. But the thing is, I wasn't asking. I was just asking for prayer. And that's all I was, and they made it clear so Sean wouldn't make a comment, because I know she makes comments. And then, a while back, when I was at Walmart, she made the statement about, I told her I had a job, and this was just a test. I didn't have a job, but I was just testing her. I said, I have a job in Hanover County. She said, well, what's the address? And she was acting like she was interested. This was like 3 weeks ago. And, asking me like, well, I'll take you there. Where is the address and what's the business? And she was like getting a pen out to write it down. I said, well, why do you need to know that? I said, that's none of your business. And she got all mad. She said, well, I just don't understand what the secrecy is, because usually you tell me what the business is and all that. You usually do. I said, well, I don't tell you because you tell other people about it and then I lose the job lead. So I don't tell you. And that's what I did tell her. And she got all mad and put her pen and paper away. But she was all mad and upset because I wouldn't share the address or the name of the business. So that kind of told on herself that she was selling me out, and giving the information away to other people. And that's another reason why I don't want to go over there on Saturdays too, because she does stuff like that. And I couldn't believe it, because she admitted it to me when, I had that job over there at the chiropractor place that I lost, which would have been like a almost $20,000 job. She told Mark about it, and Mark underbid at me, and I know she did. And when I asked her, she's like, at first, you don't know what you're talking about. Like she was doing, like, you're crazy. And then she goes, well, you just don't know what it's like. Truthfully, yeah, I did do it because, you don't know what it's like. I got 4 kids and it's hard to raise them. And I had to tell, because he does things for me for free when I give him referrals. I said, well, you don't sell out your friends or your family. And if I'm family, you shouldn't sell me out up the river like that. Because I rely on money too, and I need money. And then you go giving him my lead, and then it takes away my job. And you should not have done that. So therefore, I'm not going to tell you nothing about any jobs or leads anymore. And if I do get a job, and if you can take me to these jobs, I'll pay you for gas. But I'm not going to tell you the night before. I'm going to tell you the day when we go. And then I'll have the directions in my GPS on my phone. And you don't need the directions, because this thing will tell you where to go step by step, turn by turn. And you don't have to have the address to look it up on MapQuest, because I'll have it already put in. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to listen to where to go. I'll just read the directions to you. And that's how we do it. And she didn't like it, so she's like, she got all mad. She goes, well, she was still mad because I wouldn't give her the name of the business still. And she's like, well, we're not going to take you anywhere to the jobs either. If you get a job and you need somebody to ride you there. I said, well, what things I'm going to ask you? You're not the only friends that I have. I got other people who I can depend on to get me places, I don't have to have you take me places to take me around. I mean, you're not the only person in the world, so that can help me out. So I said, you don't need to act like high and mighty and all because you're mad because I wouldn't give you the information. But that's how she was acting, and she just basically told on herself, But, that was a test to see, and that she basically passed that test because she actually told on herself that that's what she did, giving my leads away. So there you go. And see, all this stuff in culmination is what caused all this to happen. And, when you lose friends, these are things you do to lose friendships. This is exactly what you do in order to lose a friendship. And that's exactly what she has done. And, she always makes a statement, well, I don't know why I lose all these friends, and I don't know why I go through so many friends. Well, I know why, because when you do things like that, that's what can definitely cause that to happen. So that's pretty much what happened here. But anyway, subscribe down below. Just sharing my video blog for today for the 25th of October, 2014. And I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow with the worship service here at New Hunter Church of Christ. Just want to give you real truth about what's going on here. It's up to them if they want to believe it or not. Subscribe down below, and I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow with another update. See you later. For now, take care.